Hey everybody, my name is Neil. I'm an LSAT tutor with over 1,000 hours of experience teaching the test in both one-on-one settings and in large classroom settings. I've worked for multiple national test prep companies, and I've increased my own score from a 154 to an official 179. Currently, I'm a student at Harvard Law School and I teach the LSAT. So if you're interested in working with me or joining my online community where I try to make the LSAT as accessible as possible and have included absolutely everything I know about the LSAT, go ahead and click the link in my description. Now in this video, I'm here to tell you guys my top 10 pro tips for how you can improve your LSAT score. So let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with tip number 1. So my first LSAT tip to you guys is to slow down. See, by far the biggest mistake that I see students making when they're studying for the LSAT is rushing through the questions, trying to do as many as they can, doing full-time sections, doing full practice tests with a 35-minute timer before they've even learned how to answer the questions at all. Now you might be thinking, well, the LSAT's a time test, so I need to dial in my pacing, I need to learn how to do this under time conditions, and that's the way I need to practice. But that's like trying to race in the Tour de France before you've ever even learned how to ride a bicycle. It's probably not going to work out very well. So you have to actually build your skills up from the ground up. You have to learn the fundamentals, learn the processes, think about how you should be answering questions under a slow, methodical pace, and then progressively speed that up over a sustained period of time. There's a famous quote by the Navy SEALs: "Slow is smooth and smooth is fast." And that's very, very applicable to the LSAT. Once you slow down and dial in your process, you're going to start to see how you can answer these questions a lot more efficiently. And as you get through that process over and over again, eventually, the speed will come naturally. So stop thinking about the clock, stop thinking about how you can go faster, stop thinking about your pace, and just think about how to dial in your process, get through the fundamentals, and accurately answer the question in front of you. Slow down. My second LSAT tip to you guys is to stop rationalizing. Stop rationalizing the wrong answers that you're picking and just try to figure out why they're actually incorrect and why the right answer is right. The LSAT is an objective test. There's no subjectivity to it. There's a reason the wrong answers are wrong and the right answers are right, and it's up to you to figure it out. So stop arguing with the test. Stop thinking there's some reason the test makers got this question wrong. I'm sure you've done that, and I've done it plenty of times too. When you're in a reading comprehension question, for example, and the question seems completely stupid to you, and you're between two answers, and you could have sworn that the answer you picked made perfect sense, and for some reason, it's wrong. Well, there's a reason it's wrong, and if you're going to keep arguing with the test and rationalizing reasons why it's actually the right answer, then you're never going to improve. So from this point, get it in your mind that there are 4 wrong answers to every question and only 1 right answer. And if you pick the wrong answer, there's a reason why it's wrong. And if you can track that reason down, that's when you're going to start improving on the test. So stop rationalizing your wrong answers and figure out why they're actually wrong. My third tip to you guys is to make predictions and ignore everything else. When you're answering questions on the LSAT, it's all too common that we start looking at the answers and we get really distracted and we have a couple answer choices that catch our eye. We get down to 2, maybe 3. We start debating between them and we're not really sure which one's right, and we end up getting pulled away from the right answer because there was something in another answer choice that really attracted us to it. And this is super common because we're mindlessly just going through the answers without doing enough work up front to predict what the right answer is going to be. And that allows us to get distracted. That allows us to get pulled into traps. So my recommendation to you for any question you're doing is to do as much as you can up front before looking at any answer choices. Make a prediction. Have a clear idea in your mind exactly what the answer is going to be or what it's going to look like before you look at the answers. And if you need to force yourself to do this, write that prediction down so you don't forget it. So when you're going through the answers, you don't get distracted. You have something concrete to focus on. And then when you go through the answers, all you're doing is looking for something that matches up with your prediction. If you start doing the questions this way, you're going to suddenly realize that it's a lot harder to get pulled into traps. And that answer that you were going to pick before doesn't actually make any sense if you actually have a prediction written down that answers the question. Because the trap answers that are in the answer choices that aren't correct don't actually answer the question, or they're not actually going to match what you predicted if you read the text, understood the text, and thought of the thing that is supported by the text. So please, please, please make predictions, ignore everything else, ignore all those confusing answers. My fourth LSAT tip to you guys is to watch your biases and avoid assumptions. The LSAT is a very literal test, and it means what it says on the text, and that's all the information you have. Everything you need to know to answer every single question is in the text right in front of you. So don't make any of your own assumptions. If it doesn't say it, it's not true. Don't try to bring in anything else from the outside world. One of the most common reasons students get questions wrong is because they read something on the test and then they say, oh, well, if that's true, then this other thing must be true because that's just how things work. Well, not really. Sometimes the test will say something on it and you have to take it as literally as possible. You can't make any outside assumptions. You can't bring in your outside biases. If you don't do that, then you're going to start to see why answer choices are wrong, and that's how they prey on you with wrong answer choices. They count on you to make particular assumptions and use mental shortcuts, and that's why you have to make sure you are watching your biases and your assumptions at all times. My sixth tip to you guys is to not burn yourself out. You don't need to study all day, every day, full work days, 8 hours, full out sweat when you're studying for the LSAT. In fact, that's probably going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. And that's because the LSAT is a skill-based test. So like any other skill, it's not going to help if you cram it all into one short burst of time. It's going to help if you go consistently space it out, doing a little bit every day to improve on that skill over a longer sustained period of time. Think about it like going to the gym. If you go to the gym 8 hours a day, every day, for a month straight, you're probably just gonna burn out at the end of that. Your body is gonna shut down. You're working out way too much. You're overtraining. Instead, you should probably be going to the gym 1 hour a day, maybe even a couple rest days in there over a really, really long time, 3-4 months. And that's when you're gonna start to see the benefits of working out. Well, same thing with the LSAT. You wanna spend 1 quality hour a day is the key. Quality is always better than quantity. And if you go all out for that 1 hour and you really, really focus and you really, really try to understand things, and you do that over and over and over again consistently, that's when you're going to see improvement. So just try to get in something every single day, even 5 to 10 minutes if you can't get in a full hour a day. And don't study more than, let's say, 3 hours a day, because after that, it's not really studying, not really learning. It's just going to be going through the motions. Your brain's going to be all tired. It's going to be burnt out. And so there's not really a point of putting in the effort when you're not actually getting any of the benefits. So don't burn yourself out. My 7th tip to you guys is to stop settling. It is all too common for students to be answering a question. They work on the question a little bit, they go through the answers, they get down to 2, and they're not too sure which one it is between them. And then out of intuition, they pick one, they get rid of the other, and they move on. And that's not really solving the question if we think about it. Really, you're guessing at the end of the day between 2 answers that you think might be right. You're settling for an answer rather than solving the question. And that's what's hurting you here. When you answer an LSAT question, you should not be guessing or settling for anything. You should be confident with the answer you pick. You should work that question until you figure it out. You should compare those 2 answers. You should think deeply about what those 2 answers mean. You should go back to the text to really try to understand what it's saying. And you should pick an answer with a reason for picking that answer and a reason for not picking the other one. And at first, you're not going to be able to do this very confidently, but the more you exercise that muscle, then read explanations to understand why particular answers come out the way they do, the better you're going to be able to do this. But if you keep settling, if you keep guessing, you're not going to get anywhere. My 8th tip to you guys is to get mad. Get mad, because if we're not settling for answers anymore, if we're really confident, if we're doing everything we can to get these questions right, if we get these questions wrong, we should be a little bit mad. We should be like, well, how did I get this question wrong? I need to figure this out. If you get a little bit mad at the test, well, hold on, like, I should have gotten this question right, it's going to push you a little bit more to make sure you figure out where you went wrong so you can improve and not make that same mistake next time. So don't get frustrated, don't get anxious, don't start freaking out, but get a little mad. If you get a question wrong, you should feel it a little bit, because if you don't, then that means you probably weren't actually solving the question in the first place. My 9th tip to you guys is to make the LSAT relevant. The LSAT is testing you on some very, very real skills. It's testing you on logic. It's testing you on your ability to read and understand ideas in front of you. It's testing your analytical skills. It's testing you on things you're going to be using in law school, as a lawyer, in the real world, in a variety of different areas. You're always going to be assessing arguments. You're always going to be thinking about what a document says and what it means and how it can help you. So the LSAT is very, very relevant, and it's very, very useful. So remember that when you're studying, you're not just studying for some random standardized test that's not going to help you in life. You're studying skills that are important. So when you're in the real world and you see someone make an argument, try to apply the LSAT to it. Try to think about, are they making a good argument? Are they making a bad argument? When you're reading something, try to use your skills of trying to parse through the text, try to rephrase what it's saying. The LSAT is a very, very, very useful test. So make it relevant, and you'll probably hate the test just a little bit less. My 10th and final tip to you guys is to have fun. I know many of you probably hate the LSAT, and you probably want to stop studying for it and get this stage of life completely over with. And I totally understand that. But the best LSAT scorers are the ones who actually enjoy the LSAT. The ones who don't treat it as a chore, but as a game, who don't dread waking up every morning to do their LSAT prep, but are excited to get up and solve the puzzle and improve on top of their score. So as much as you might not like the LSAT, as much as you might not be having fun when you're studying for the LSAT, I want you to try to change your mindset. I want you to try to get excited about the test. I want you to try to strive for that improvement and enjoy the puzzle of the LSAT. And if you just try to trick yourself into that mindset, I promise you it will take you very, very far. So that's it. Those are my 10 tips to helping you improve on the LSAT. I hope this was a useful video. I hope you start to employ some of these tips in your studying and in your life. And I wish you the best of luck with your LSAT studying journey.